Welcome, patrons, to another exciting episode of The Drunken Pawn. You did. I guess you had to be the leader. Did you not read it? Grab our stein and it's game time. Welcome, patrons, to another episode of The Drunken Pawn. Here I am.
Here I am.
Also, Stephen, of course, and Maurice is here with me as always. We're here to bring you another exciting board game. What is it, you ask? You probably didn't ask that, but it is Power Grid.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Power Grid. It's an older game from Rio Grande Games.
Yep.
They're based in New Mexico. They started around 1995. What they do is they take games from Germany specifically and translate them and localize them to America, which localize, if you're not familiar with the word, I had to look it up. It means basically to translate and to adapt to an American audience. So, which they updated the graphics and stuff like that for an American audience.
So
they do that with a lot of games. Oh my lord, do they have a selection of games. But this is Power Grid. There is a German name for this. What is that German name?
Funkenschlag auf Deutsch.
Funkenschlag.
Auf Deutsch.
So that's the German name for it. Which is cool because I
pronounced it perfectly.
Yeah, yes. So it's time for everybody's favorite segment of the show.
Okay.
Most people don't really like this show. They only like the show because of this segment.
Well,
I've got feedback.
Segment, have you gotten feedback?
No.
Oh, God, what a cruel world. That could have been true. You could have gotten feedback and they said, "Only the first minute."
No feedback. But we do this segment because we sit here with these steins.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
People want to know what's in the steins. So the segment is called What's in the Stein? What's in there? Well, what do we have in here today, Maurice?
Today we have, do we have two separate beers on our thing right now? Do we talk about that? Is that a hidden thing?
No, we're talking about the one we have here.
The one we have here.
We can talk about that later.
Right. So this is a Yellow Springs Brewery beverage. Seriously aged cherry in cherry barrels with cherries added. Seriosity. There we go. It's called Seriosity. It's a Belgian strong ale. I knew that.
Oh boy.
Yikes bananas. So it is, what I know from when I purchased this is that Yellow Springs is a very solid brewery. They tend to pretty much nail the style of beer that they go for. And the other thing that I like about Yellow Springs is that they do tend to go for some of the, I want to say, more complex styles. You know, it's not just Pilsner or Stout. It's a Saison, it's a aged with cherry, it's a dark Belgian, it's a something which is maybe takes a little more patience and care.
Yeah, so this time, not only did Maurice pick the game, but he also picked the brewery. And the brewery is from Yellow Springs Brewery in Yellow Springs, Ohio.
Yep.
So
simple.
That is, of course, I'll put all the information for Yellow Springs in the description below.
Oh, brandy barrel, sounds very nice.
Yeah, brandy barrel.
Cherry brandy.
But that is what's in the stein. What's in there? What's in there, Maurice?
What is in there?
What is in there?
Belgian dark strong ale.
That's right.
I drink cherry brandy barrel. That's the accent of Yellow Springs, and everybody knows it.
It's a quaint little town with its own
town.
accent.
Yeah, with many old retired vampire helpers from Britain.
What?
Yeah,
Okay, well.
look it up on Wikipedia. I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong. You're not 100% wrong. Probably 80% wrong.
It's 20% right. Take that to the bank.
Anyways,
We begin?
Yes.
No. Yes.
here we are. We're about to play Power Grid, but we have to read.
Oh, yeah.
This one doesn't have, again, no story, but it does have the goal of the game.
Okay, tell me about the goal of the game.
The goal of this game is each player represents a power company, which works to supply electricity to cities. During the game, each player buys power plants at auction, buys resources to produce electricity in those power plants, and builds a network of cities to supply with electricity from its power plants. In the end, the player who supplies the most cities with the power wins. That is the goal of the game. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to power those cities.
Yeah.
This is a pretty good translation. I mean, if this is a translation from German, I mean, it's pretty decent.
It is pretty decent.
It reads well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New Mexico has a fine tradition of translating German to English.
Apparently,
in power
who knew?
games.
Who knew?
Board games.
Board games, yeah. What did you say, power grid games?
I said power games because I got very confused. I was looking at the box. It says power. I got confused.
The Yellow Springs Brewery beer is not the only thing that's been in the Stein tonight, so
Yep.
It's been a little. We've been what do you call it? Pre-gaming or whatever.
Pre-gaming.
Is that what the kids call it
I've
these
been
days?
pre-gaming because we're about to play a game.
Oh, pre-gaming again! Look at that. Whole new thing.
We're involved.
Okay, well I think it's time now. What is it? What time is it?
It's game
Yeah,
time!
let's grab our steins right here. These guys, because it's what?
It's game time.
Thanks. Lord have mercy. Okay.
Done. Alright. Next! We draw a new power plant. It goes immediately into the market. It happens to rearrange everything. There we go. That's nice. Orderly. Very nice.
Done.
Okay. Sure wish I could buy that windmill. But I can't. So, knowing that I will have to
You should
buy...
probably speak in a
What?
way that people will be able to understand what you're saying.
No.
I like it,
Ugh.
but it's going to be really hard for people to understand when you go.
Just turn on your closed captions. Google
pay for
knows.
that.
YouTube or whatever. Who owns YouTube? Google? ABC? Whatever. They can do it. They close caption for... I was going to disparage the middle of the country and I shouldn't do that.
Don't do that.
It's not a good thing to do.
You got a $5 bill right here. Shazam. Like we said, it's probably in millions or probably millions, not
Millions?
billions.
10 millions?
Well, see, for the power plants, millions. Why not? You know, although 13 million for a windmill. How big is that friggin' windmill? But anyway, all things aside. But for coal, $1 million? Whew.
That's a lot of money, but you know,
Maybe it's
power
a
stuff.
whole load of coal.
It's a lot of coal. It powers one house, so I mean,
Jeez.
I think it's like one
City.
community or
Yeah,
city.
yeah. This is a city. So the way that this works is on the board. You can see 10, 15, and 20. And what's going on here is that there are only 3 energy providers that can be in any city at all. So you get first rights. So you would pay like $10.
Actually, you do because it's reverse order.
I get first rights. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do though. I am gonna come up to. I'm gonna go to Lubbock.
I think that's how they try to balance out this game. Is they make it so the first player gets to pick the best power plant first. Then the second player gets to pick their materials, buy their materials, and all that before the other players can. It's kind of like a balancing thing, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. That part of the power card, the game card, that's the maximum number of cities that it can power per turn.
Okay. Oh, so I can just this can be a reserve.
That's in reserve.
So this I can just sell this and then keep this in reserve.
Well, use it. Yes.
Yeah, use it. Right.
So and that comes into play. So like, say you and I both had coal power plants, right? we're only going to get so much more coal on every turn or whatever, and it's going to continuously get more and more expensive.
Because it's less of it.
Right, so you bought it at the cheapest rate possible, and you stocked up.
Okay. So this game is a 2 to 6 player game. 12 plus. Again, I feel like that's a little young.
Not for the Germans.
I guess so. They must be smarter than us or something.
Oh, they got better
But
education
the
systems.
playtime, the playtime on this one is 2 hours.
It's fine.
So that's probably the longest playtime for any game ever that I've ever played. Honestly.
Except for the one game that we made. That was an adventure across
Yeah,
a mythical
but we
world.
made that one. I
That was
guess
true.
also Arabian Nights.
I was going to say Tales
Oh
of the
my
Arabian
gosh,
Nights.
yeah.
Tales of Arabian Nights.
That's a
like
storytelling game,
5
however.
hours.
Yeah.
I feel like storytelling games get their own criteria. Like, they get their own thing. This is a board game.
Yeah, this is a board game. Again, yeah. This is a... Well, there's a board in that too, though.
There is a board in that, but the board is, like,
It's more like
very
a
important.
placeholder.
Never mind, I got
Yeah.
nothing. I was going to say it's like a placeholder, but it is pretty important.
I guess so.
But anyways, yeah, so it's a 2-hour game. Obviously, you're going to see big cuts with us jumping from section to section, but we're going to try to explain as best as we can and throw in some anecdotes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm sure, but
Anecdotes are great.
just wanted to throw that out there. This is a very long game. We're going to try to wrap it up as quick as we can for you, but it's going to take a bit. So,
yeah.
Anyways, back to determine turn order.
Yeah, so equal number of houses, equivalencies, and then highest number power plant is number oct. Not comma I never want to hear the phrase oct comma fump ever
So
again.
everybody in this room went to Germany. We've been to Germany
Yes.
for the World Beard and Mustache competition.
Yes.
What year was that?
2013.
2013.
Interesting.
Dang, that was a long time ago. We used to run a beard mustache club based out of Dayton, Ohio, called the Gem City Gentlemen of the Gilded Beard, which was a smaller part of a bigger group that Maurice created called Beard Team Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
So we, as a group, went to Germany not only for that, but also for Teresa's honeymoon / thing too. But that's a whole nother story.
It's a good time. Let's get it
But
all
we went
out.
there. We went there for that the beard competition mostly.
Yep.
And we heard Oct comma Fumf
Mm-hmm.
a billion times. That we will never forget that.
As they judged the 3,000 competitors.
Yes.
And they could only give them so many noins and scenes and noin comma fumps. Just 9.5s for you plebs. So most people got oct comma fumps unless they didn't like you, and some people got like 4s.
Yeah.
And that just meant the judges literally hated you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because you screamed and you made the beer princesses cry a little bit. So
Yeah.
you got a 4.
There was beer princesses there, yes.
There was some.
I mean, it is Germany, so they're known for their beer.
Yes.
Their $2 beer bottles. But it was a great time otherwise. I mean, that competition took literally all day, which is the longest competition we ever went to.
Yeah, I think it was literally all day. It was like
Yeah,
18
it was
hours.
all
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
and it was
We
rough.
got there at like 8 in the morning
Mhm.
so that you guys could start getting ready, and then we just sat until like I remember it being dark when we drove home.
Yeah. I also remember that Swiss people don't sleep at a competition. I'm sure they sleep. I'm like, they're not genetically that different. But during competition mode, they're the only people who don't.
But Germany as a country is gorgeous. It's beautiful. People
Yeah,
are
it was
lovely.
beautiful.
We had a great time there. Besides that, we had a good time with the competition too. It just took forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I just want to say about Germany. Since we're playing a German game,
German
and this
game.
Is Germany that we decided to pick for the
Yeah.
side. Because the other side, I believe, is America.
Yes.
It's a reversible side, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just wanted to say that.
I dig.
I would like to purchase, if I can, at auction,
Okay.
this coal plant for $25.
$26 I will pay.
27,
28.
29,
40.
35, 40. You said 40?
Yeah.
45.
Let me do my math here.
Wait, which coal plant? You're gonna pay $40.
45.
He's gonna pay $45 for it. Yes, he is.
That seems like a mistake.
Am I done?
Yeah,
You
it's
got
yours.
it?
Go for it.
So,
That's how you bargain.
You
Competitively.
artificially drive up the price so that Steve wastes all
It
of his
wasn't
money.
that artificial. It just had a little bit of alcohol, but I did want it.
But now Steve has no money.
He's got plenty of money. He's got like $10.
It's
Yeah,
got
plenty.
$7,
11.
I think.
I had a whole other stack laying over here that was not the stack that I was dealing with.
Are you stealing money?
No.
Are you embezzling from the energy company?
Don't
Whoa! Embezzling?
Don't even start.
Do we have any games where you can embezzle?
There's
Seems
probably
like
a
a
game
fun
called
thing.
Embezzle. Oh, the Trump game.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
that's
that's
right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
We should do an episode with that game
As long as we can wear
in
wigs.
November.
Oh, yeah,
That's a
okay,
good-
November.
That's a
Great idea. Sold. But I can get... Oh, you're not in the oil biz anymore.
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna get this one for $6.
I never was in the oil biz.
Fine. God. Defensive. Not too oil. 8. Alright. And so what I've done now was 6 and 8. So we'll toss that guy into that pile and do that math quickly in my drunk brain. Oh wait, another distraction. Hold on. 6 and 8 is 14. I did it all by myself. Did I pay for anything? What happened to my money?
You paid for the 26 one. You put 110 in, but you need to put in another 10
And get 2 out?
and get 6.
6 out. How much money did I pay? 14. 14,
That's right.
26, 4. Got it.
Wow.
It's
You're
just,
confusing me.
it's just too
What?
many
Confused
numbers.
about
It's the
I'm
volume of
confused.
numbers.
I confused you.
No, he is.
Oh.
She is.
Okay.
So, we have just built the 7th house or connection, and step 2 has activated. So what we got to do first is get rid of the lowest card, which would be that one.
I really like that.
Getting rid of that,
Yeah.
and then we rearrange like normal.
Do we draw?
Yep, draw and rearrange. So...
You kidding me with that?
Dang!
Dang!
So there's that. And now we can also build, if you can bring it in here, in each of these there's the 15 city. Now we can build an extra house there. So if Maurice wants to come down here, he can build right there in that 15. Or I could build a 15 and have extra houses. So that gives me more that I could build, that I could get money for, or he could get money for. So that is step 2. We got there finally. 7th connection.
Well, I tell you what.
Right, yeah. Now it's completely changed. This is great about this game because like the market changes so drastically per turn. So you never know what's going to happen.
Huh?
We've decided to shorten the game a little bit
That's right.
because it's just going so long.
So long.
Not necessarily a bad thing. It's just for the video's sake, for editing's sake, we're gonna move it along. So we're actually only gonna go to 15. We moved up the phase 3 or step 3. So just so we can move it along here a little bit.
Yeah.
But it is a good game if you play it to the 21.
Don't review it yet. It's not review time.
That's not really easy. But we'll see what we'll see when we get to review.
Yeah. Where the heck were we?
Where the heck were we? Was it
I
good?
think he just bought all of his cities and he got his resources. Why did nobody do Wilhelmshaven?
I did.
No.
I thought I did.
Nope.
What is this town? Chucklucks? I didn't even see that town. I meant to buy Wilhelmshaven.
I kept thinking, like, why? And you just kept saying, this one's cheaper, and I was like,
It doesn't.
No, it's not.
It doesn't matter because even if he bought either one of those, it's still cheaper than the stuff that he's been doing. So
I know. That's why I was like, what? Why is he? He's like, this is cheaper.
It has nothing to do with me. It
No,
has all
I
to do
know
with him.
that.
Well, okay,
it would have
but-
been cheaper
but now-
for you though too, because it would have been your first. You would have been the first person there, right?
Yeah. Well, see, this
you
is now
or
21.
Maurice could have done it. That's why I
Wait,
kept.
listen. We've been drinking steins of beer.
What's your Stein count?
I have no idea.
So I don't know what your sign count is.
4.
Don't you look at me.
But also
4.
we've been drinking.
4.
There's been mead. mixed in, and that first beer you gave me was 15%.
Yeah, it was.
So
Sneaky little pizzas. Spray tan. You just went to Waterworld, my friend. How do you say Waterworld in German? Aus Deutschmunde or whatever?
Wasser. Water's Wasser.
Yeah, Wasser.
Welt. Wasserwelt.
Do you think it was called Wasserwelt?
maybe. I'd like to see the poster for Waterworld in Germany.
Alright.
Cool.
Boop, boop. Now it's over.
So you still lost.
Whatever. How do we calculate?
Okay, so the winner is the player who can supply electricity to the most cities in his network with the power plants and resources that he has.
Okay.
Me. If there's a tie, which there's not, the player with the most remaining money wins.
I got good money, but I don't got good power.
I beat you, buddy.
You did.
I got you.
You
Somehow. Did. I don't know how, but I beat you.
Hung on to my windmill.
For too long.
You did. I think
I
you
was
did.
waiting for the better stuff.
And it got pushed all the way back to the
Oh
end.
my god!
Yeah,
I kept
so-
getting pushed back.
I kept going and going. See, like, this is the lowest one I have. See how expensive mine are?
Yeah.
Are you just
Well, yours isn't bad either, though.
just digging the knife in?
He's
I
trying
don't
to
know.
debrief.
I'm trying to figure out how I won, because that doesn't make any sense, but...
You were progressive. Maurice stuck with his windmill.
Yeah, but mine was 11,
He liked
but it does power
the
2.
renewable energy
It
and
did.
the fact that you didn't have to use resources to power it,
Yeah, it's free to power.
which was fine for the first couple turns.
I needed
Yeah,
these
this-
fluffers to get up in there. I thought they would. They wouldn't.
Yeah,
The
this-
other thing that screwed me was you passing when I passed. You flipping monster. God. Dang dingleberries.
Sorry.
Fudge. Every time.
Alright, so we're on to the review. I have won the game somehow.
Decidedly.
I have no idea how, but... Thank you.
Victory.
We, so we did, to be fair, we did end the game a little early because it says 2 hours on the box and it means 2 hours.
Yeah.
This is a very long, arduous game. Yes, I use the word arduous.
I hope that this company likes that in their review.
Well-
It's just a description. Welcome to a long, arduous game.
It's not that it's, I'm not saying it's bad. It just takes 2 hours to play.
It does. It
I
does.
mean, you can't. How else to say that? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it takes time
Mm-hmm.
and it takes cognitive ability, which we are lacking thereof because we've been drinking. So
Yeah.
we decided to end it a little early.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really hurt the game that much, but
No.
we have finished and I have won, and I don't. Okay.
There was a legit
So,
strategy to that.
Yeah, I mean, well, so we're gonna move on to the review.
Mm-hmm.
So just stick around and we'll get to that right now. Alright, now we're on to the review of Power Grid, or
Funkenschlag auf Deutsch.
in German. So
Remember that.
what do you think, Maurice? What do you think?
I'm up first? Okay, let's see.
Well, let's be honest with people. How many times have we played this? Probably way more than once.
Yes. Yeah. So I think we played this game maybe about, I don't know, 7 times.
Yeah,
I would say that's
so.
probably
through,
fair.
through its life.
Yeah. So 7 times. And that kind of gives you an idea of, even though it is long, we have played this game 7 times. And it's quite fun. I think it is in the fine German tradition. I think it is a good game for, like, if you were going out camping or doing something in like an RV or whatever, just kind of going somewhere with your family, and you had a couple like young teenagers or some nerds in the family or something. This is a great game to play because this is something you can do to burn time creatively and strategically, and it is indeed fun. It's a good game. So, more specifically, I think they did a really fantastic job with, and you mentioned this during the gameplay, is they did a fantastic job with the enumeration. It's a little frustrating to have to deal with ones throughout the game, purchasing that kind of thing. But it's a very well thought out game numerically. It's an extremely well thought out game numerically. I think it's very fun. And to the story of like the real world of how the power generation world kind of works, this is quasi educational, to be frank. It's kind of cool.
All right. Well, it's one of those games. This is one of those games. It's like you gotta have a block of time to play it. We went back into it. It's been a while since we played it, so we went back into it like being like, oh well, maybe it means 2 hours if there's 6 or 7 players. But we were wrong. Mm-hmm. It is 2 hours whether it's 2 players or 6 players. So that's why we kind of ended it a little early. If it was just me and him playing, we would have just went to the 21 because we played before. I don't think we've really thought about the length of time before.
No.
Because we just kind of play games. We don't think about the time limit. So
absolutely.
But for a show, you think about the time limit. So we ended it a little early. But as far as the game mechanics go, you have all this paper money over here, like this kind of stuff like this, and it's cool and all. It's very Monopoly-esque, but I really think they could have like made it into quantities of 5 or something like that. Got rid of the ones. The ones just make it more confusing. Which that would just be small changes on the board. Just make everything rounded to 5. Instead of 19 and 16, and it's like, why? Why do that? Maybe, do you have a reason why they would have done that?
I almost wonder if they kind of started with this logic down here, this 1 through 14. Like, that's such a logical progression.
What's 1 through 16?
16, sorry. Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. So I almost feel like they started with that progression as an idea, and then they built the board out to accommodate that pricing schedule.
I mean, that's true. That's a good point.
And they could have just edited that, but it ends up being that the resource market is the most logically laid out, numerically part of the board.
Yeah, I guess so.
And this is all bananas.
That's great. So it's hard when it comes to the math aspect of it, but I mean, it doesn't really take away too much from the game. It's still fun. It's fun to just, you're buying resources, buying your facilities to house your resources and stuff. It's still a good, solid game. It's just you need time to play it, and
the graphics are cool.
The graphics are great. I mean, look at this.
And every card is genuinely a little bit different.
Yeah, every card, you got that kind of plant, you got that kind of plant.
And as you scale up, the plant changes to meet kind of the yeah. It's
I mean, the art is amazing. I love the art. I mean, look at the rule book. It's very old school looking. That's
it's
like 50s or something like that. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So it's fun to look at. Very colorful. The resources get a little weird because this... Okay, I want to say this. This is coal. This is oil. But on the card, when you're looking at the card... Okay. That's coal. See the little black guys there? That's oil. The little white barrels. Yeah. So it's like... Ugh, it gets a little confusing sometimes if you're not, especially if you've been drinking.
Yeah.
It takes a little more like cognitive ability to be like, okay, that's coal, this is oil, because on the cards, coal looks black. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I mean, it's a fun game. I mean, we've played it multiple times. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't really know what else to say about it.
They could have made the oil red and the uranium green.
Yeah, that would make more sense, right? Green uranium, yeah.
And red barrel, fine, whatever.
It would be more, it'd make more sense. It would be more different. But yeah, anyways, other than that, it's a good game. So, let's get down to it.
Oh boy.
How many
Hold on.
little pawns would you give this game? I mean, after playing this was probably, I would say at least the 6th or 8th time we've played it. I mean, I can't really remember, but what do you think?
So, I've been struggling with this. I'm going to give it 3.5 pawns. 3 pawns and 1 drunken pawn soldier on the field. The reason is this. The game is incredible. I do genuinely like it. I like the mechanics. I like the story it tells. I'm also an energy person by trade, so it tickles my fancy personally. It just does take too long. And so for that reason, I deduct it 1.5 pawns. I give it 3 and 1 drunken pawn.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say 3 pawns. I'm gonna take that 1/2 and throw it out because I am not in that trade, and it's just long. You know, like, I mean, I guess you could like modify it to make it. I mean, we did. You can modify it to make it a little shorter, and I think if you did that, it would be a more what's the word, like game that you can
repeatability.
Yeah,
or something?
yeah.
Okay.
A game that you can get into more because like the way it is, it just takes so long to play, and like you just need a big chunk of time, and not everybody has that much time.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Though the art, the colors, the money, everything is really cool looking. Everything's good looking. It is a fun game. I mean, we've played it multiple times, like we said.
Yeah.
But for the average game player, this might not be for you.
Yeah.
You might want to go with something a little that takes less time, especially if you're starting out just playing board games. Don't start with this. if you're starting to get into board games or tabletop games in general, do not start with something like this. This is for more advanced players. And I do want to touch on too. They do have a expansion that is, if you don't have any friends, if you're playing by yourself, there's an expansion called the Robot expansion. There's these little cards that actually build a robot, and they will play the game with you. You just have to do what the little pieces say, and that's how that plays. So it's interesting. It's weird. But you do build a little robot and he plays with you. So that's kind of fun. Yeah. If you want to check that out, it's an expansion that you can get. But yeah, so that's about it. I think that'll do it. So we got 3.5 pawns.
3 1/2.
And for me, 3 pawns for Power Grid from Rio Grande Games. Well, we hope to see you on the next episode of the Drunken Pawn, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Wait, what do we do with the button?
Oh, what do we do with the button? The subscribe button. You gotta energize it. Energize the subscribe button. Yeah, get that. Yeah. So we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.